Now we're actually going to talk about Father Joseph Walijewski. And Bishop Callahan joins us from the Diocese of LaCrosse, Wisconsin, to chat about the cause for canonization of Father Joe. We air a documentary here on Catholic TV about the life of this wonderful priest who is known as Father Joe. And Bishop, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you. Good to be with you. Thank you so much, Father, and thank you so much for your interest in Father Joe Walijewski.
A little rain out there today, huh?
Yeah, you know, it's good for the crops. We love this sort of thing.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Diocese of LaCrosse, Wisconsin to begin with, because for a lot of our viewers, they might be saying, what's going on out there?
Well, we are western and north central Wisconsin. So out my window, right out the window of my residence here, is the Mississippi River. That's how far west we are. So I look and I can see the river, and across the way I look into the Diocese of Winona, Minnesota. So we're that far over to the end of Wisconsin, and we go up to the Twin Cities on one side, and then across the state to Wausau, Wisconsin, pretty close to Green Bay. So we comprise 19 counties, have 160 parishes, and approximately 180,000 Catholics.
Well, that's quite a job to be a shepherd of all of that. And I have to ask you, Bishop, as a bishop, what's it like to be part of the process of preparing for a potential beatification, canonization of a good priest?
What a wonderful thing it is. It is, indeed. You know, when I went down to Casa Hogar in Peru, the orphanage that Father Joe established, with the initial donation that was given to him by none other than Pope St. John Paul the Great. And that was given to him, he gave him a $50,000 donation and to establish the orphanage. And that orphanage grew from that initial contribution, which was mighty in those days, and grew to this orphanage now that is really a beacon of hope in the midst of terrible situations. It's right on the edge of Lima, Peru, but it's in the Diocese of Lorraine. And when you stand up at the top of the hill where our orphanage is, and it is where Father Joe is buried, you look out, and if you look straight ahead from the tomb of Father Joe, you look right at the Pacific Ocean. But if you just turn ever so slightly, about 5 degrees to the right, you're going to look and you can see the most horrendous slum imaginable, and that's where Father Joe used to walk. And he would see children huddled under newspapers and in cardboard boxes. These were the throwaways. You know, what we do in our country is we abort these children. And in Peru, these children are born and then discarded. And so as Father Joe walked around, he saw these kids and he knew that he had to do something. And so he established the orphanage, and of course the kindness and the generosity of John Paul just initiating this thing took off and took fire. When I was there in 2011, which was the 5th anniversary of Father Joe's death, I was just overcome as I stood up there at his tomb. I saw these children processing up with candles and everything else for the anniversary of his death. I knew at that moment that Father Joe is a saint. And so what I wanted to do was just to bring along everybody with me and help everybody to realize with me that this man is someone we need to speak about, and he is a hero for our time.
Yeah, it's a special, special person, and you can tell by just the reaction of so many. Has anything surprised you about the rigors of the canonization process, Bishop?
Oh, the rigors. No, I think I've been a priest for 38 years, and a bishop now for 7. I've been the Bishop of LaCrosse for 5. But no, I don't get too surprised anymore about the rigors of church activities and the policies. But I have to tell you that, you know, just trying to put the tribunal together, because there's a promoter of justice, there's theological concerns and canonical concerns, and postulators and all these sorts of things, trying to get the whole thing together is sometimes a difficult thing. You know, getting people together, and you're doing it in 2 countries, in 2 languages, and it really does become a bit of a character builder.
And it's not like you have nothing else to do either, Bishop. So what does it mean to have a priest right in your area that is regarded as such a saintly person? Does that help you as a pastor?
It does, and you can't believe how wonderful the response is from the people of God in our diocese. Our diocese is still pretty rural, and we want to keep it that way. We try to really promote a small town sense of the diocese. So we're not in any big hurry to close parishes and move people around and do these sorts of things. I've got some of the finest priests in the world who work in this diocese. And so what we do is, in speaking to the people, these people know Father Joe. Father Joe was a priest in some of these parishes up in the northern part of the diocese, and so they know him. Father Joe was a priest who married them. Father Joe was a priest who baptized their children. So they know Father Joe as a priest and as a saintly man. So they knew him then as a saintly man, and it's not too much to extrapolate from his saintliness in Wisconsin to his absolute holiness and saintliness in South America.
Where can people learn more about the diocese and the cause and canonization for Father Joe?
Good for you. That's an excellent thing, and I would just encourage everybody to go to Father Joe's Guild. No hyphens, no diacritical marks. FatherJoesGuild.org. And Father Joe's Guild will have everything in it that you need to think about. I heard you talking earlier just about a prayer box. There is a prayer box on that guild site, and if you go to that, those prayers are taken by Monsignor Hirsch, who is the director of the orphanage, and the children process up to the tomb of Father Joe, and they bring that prayer box literally to the tomb of Father Joe, and they offer the prayers there for the people who
Nice.
ask for prayers. So I think that's a pretty big deal. Not only are we asking prayers for his beatification and canonization, but we are mindful of the fact that everything we bring to our Lord is going to help us, and in some way increases our own faith.
Well, Bishop, thank you so much for sharing the story with us, and we have that wonderful program, documentary here on Catholic TV. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks so much, Jay. Father, take good care of
Yeah,
yourself.
you too.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
God be with you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.